Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is create a new file. We want this to be a square canvas, so you need to change your width and your height to 10. And go ahead and scroll down, check the raster effects, and make sure that you have it set to high 300 ppi. And then you can click create. First thing we're going to do is create a circle. So I'm going to hold the shift key to draw my perfect circle. And you kind of just want to leave a little bit of room up and down there. And for now, I want to center this. So to do that, you can go to Window and select Align. This should pop up, and you can use the horizontal align center to center that. You can also center it vertically, but in a minute we will be moving this down later. Okay, so while your circle is selected, you go to your Properties panel. You can change the fill color. So we're going to be making a pumpkin, so I want to use orange, unless you want your pumpkin to be a different color. You sure can. And I'm going to get rid of the stroke by selecting none. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little bit of a smiley face here just to make our pumpkin a little bit flatter. I'm going to turn off my fill by selecting none. Okay, I'm going to highlight over my circle, get my shape builder tool, hold down the Alt key to subtract, and subtract that part. Now these are a little too pointy for my liking. First thing I want to do is select this line that I made, and I want to go ahead and delete it. You can do that by pressing backspace. I'm going to zoom in here and get my direct selection tool. Sorry, I'm going to click on this anchor point and hold shift and click on this anchor point. That way when I edit it, it'll do the same thing for both. So I'm bringing this out to give that a little more curve, okay? So I'm good with that. Next thing I'm going to do is get my line tool. And we're going to cut off a piece here, but we're not going to cut it off to where we delete it like the bottom, okay? So first you want to hold down shift before you start drawing your line. Do it a little bit lower. That way your line will be super straight. Okay, so now we're going to select everything, and you want to go to Window, and select Pathfinder. This is where I have to read these because there's so many. Now we're going to click Divide. Okay, so what that did was this now divided, should have this part. So we can lift this up. It's going to be the top of our little pumpkin. Next, what we want to do is I'm going to come to my layers panel up here. And right now these are grouped together. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to right click and select ungroup. And that just allows me to now select this without having this selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out here and rotate it slightly. Okay, just to give it a more playful look. And then I'm going to drag these down. I'm just using my arrow key on my keyboard to kind of give that more centered look there. Okay, next I'm going to get our ellipse. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to the top, and we're going to make a oval shape. That's going to fit, and it doesn't have to fit exactly right now. Maybe a little bit bigger. And we're going to make this color a little bit lighter. So you can come and just choose the default. That'd probably be easier. Zoom in here and make sure this is lined up. So I want this lined up, and then I want to check this side. And I'm going to bring this in. I'm just going to bring this out just a little bit more. I gotta drag this down. Okay. Okay, so next we want to make a copy of this. So we're going to select Control C on our keyboard, and then to paste in front is going to be Control F. Okay. Now with our selections tool still shown up, we want to hold the Shift key and just make this a little bit smaller. Drag it in just a little bit there. And we're going to make this a darker color to be the inside of our pumpkin. Not that dark. So if you double click here, you can come here and edit the darkness of that same shade. And it'll kind of show you what it looks like there. Okay. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Bring this down. Okay, so now it should look like you have the inside of it. Okay, next thing we're going to do is start making the eyes. You want to make a oval shape. Right now it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It's okay. I know they don't look like pumpkin eyes right now. Then we're going to get our direct selection tool. Double click our left point, hold shift, double click our right point. Okay, so make sure you have those two selected, and then we're going to convert these by pressing this one, and it's going to make it more like a football shape. Now we're going to go to Effect and select Warp and select Arc. We're going to increase this to about 65 or so. And click OK. Then we want to select Object, Expand Appearance, and that will just expand that whole shape. I'm going to go ahead and make this smaller. I'm going to hold Shift. Okay, when you get that situated like you want, we want to copy and paste this in the front. So again, we're going to do Control C and then Control F to paste in front. So we're going to grab this one, move it down and to the right. I'm going to grab this one in the back and I'm going to give it that white orange that we used earlier. Okay, so there should be a difference between your pumpkin and the orange that's on the eye. Now we're going to select both of these. Instead of just clicking and dragging over though, we need to select one, hold down shift and select the other. Otherwise we'd be selecting the whole entire pumpkin. Zoom in so you can see a little better here. And I'm going to grab my shape builder and I'm going to hold down Alt to minus, and I'm going to minus this extra shape here. So that way our eye is just one whole shape. Again, I can scoot that over. Make sure that when you're scooting that over that you select both of the shapes. So one variation of the eye that you could do that I will show you is you could do the triangle. So grab the polygon tool, make your 3 sides. Now, of course, your 2 eyes can be the same, but this is just a different option here. I want to grab that color again. So while I have this selected, I'm going to grab my eyedropper and just select that color so that it'll turn it that color. Okay, now I'm going to hold down, sorry, not hold down. I'm going to Control C to copy. and Control F to paste in place. I'm going to move this one here forward a bit. Okay, so now we're going to turn this one the light orange. I'm going to hold down Shift to select my other shade. Okay, and so I feel like this is too much, so I'm going to bring it in a little bit. I'm going to hold down Shift to select both of these, grab my shape builder, and hold down the Alt key to subtract that section there. Okay, so you could have eyes like these, you could have eyes like these. The next thing that you want to do is group your two eyes. So again, select both of these, and right click and select group. That way, when you move them now, they'll move as one whole. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to group it. There I have that. Okay, so now's the time to pick your eye shape. I'm going to hide this one for now. And you just hold down the Alt key and you can make a copy of your eye. I'm just going to rotate this a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is make another copy of my eye. Now he looks sad. And I'm going to rotate this. And I'm going to make this larger. So if you don't hold down Shift, it'll move the proportions, which sometimes that's okay if you want that. So right now I have a very happy pumpkin. And you can also make your mouth any other way, like using the pen tool, for example. Next, we're going to get our pen tool and start making some lines here for our pumpkin face. So I just brought it down straight, and then I'm going to click and drag it to make a rounded shape there. Click Enter to exit that. And then you want to go ahead and switch your fill in your stroke. Then you just kind of decide, okay, how thick do you want this? What color do you want it? Do you want it the light color? Do you want to try the dark color? So when you increase the stroke, if this happens, there's some different things you can do. First, if you go to Window and select Stroke, Stroke panel will come up, and this might not be showing. If it's not, you can click on these lines and click on Show Options. So yours probably looks like this. You'll go to Show Options, and it'll have these to choose from. I'm going to go ahead and make the ends of my line curved like this. Then I'm going to use my direct selection tool just to bring this back inside my pumpkin. Okay, and you can mess with different, if you maybe you want to try some dash lines in your pumpkin. You know, feel free to be creative, do what you want to do. Then I'm going to go over with my pencil and create another line. Then I'm going to add two more lines, one coming this way and one coming this way. I'm finding this one is not round enough, so I can come back, click on it, and I can adjust my handle. To figure out how I want that. Okay, so there's two different ways that you can do this. You can click on these eyes and the mouth, right click, click arrange and bring to front, and that will put the lines in the back. It's probably one of the easiest ways to move those back. Okay, so if you wanted to, you can go and put the lines on top of your jack-o'-lantern's head. You don't have to, but if you want to, you do it the same way that you just did your lines here. Okay, so now we're going to make a curled stem here. First thing I want to do is select my whole image. I'm going to bring it down more. I'm going to get my pen tool. Okay, so you can just be creative with this, however you want to do it. Up to you. I'm going to drag this down and make it green. And I'm going to go ahead and make the stroke a little thicker here. Okay, another thing you can play with here is in your stroke panel. You can come down here to profile where it says uniform, and you can mess with these and see how this kind of gives it like a effect here. Okay, now we're going to add a little leaf. So to add a leaf, we can use the same, we can do it the same way we made our eyes. Grabbing the ellipse. So I've made my oval. I'm going to change my fill. I'm going to get my direct selection tool. Click on this anchor point and this anchor point, and click on the convert points to corner. I'm just going to rotate that, bring it here, maybe make it a little smaller. Make some copies of it, holding down Alt to make a copy. I'm going to drag my whole head down a little bit. Okay, so now we can go ahead and just give this some background color. So I'm just going to use my rectangle tool to draw a rectangle over my artboard. You can go ahead and right click that, arrange, and send to back. And just pick whatever color that you want to use for that. Another thing you can also do is add a gradient. So you could click on Window, Gradient, that'll pop that up. If you click on it, it'll automatically default to black and white, but you can change. So you can double click on the little dots there. You have an option to use this, or you can go to swatches. You can do whatever you want there for the gradient. You can also change it, like for now the gradient's going from left to right. If you want to change that, just mess with the angle here. 90 will make it go the other way. If you want it opposite with the purple with this on top, you would do negative. So you can just mess with that. You can also do a circle gradient, and you can mess with this one for how far you would want that gradient to be. Ew, go back. I don't want that. So I'm going to leave mine just like that. And the last thing I'm going to do is add just a little shadow to our pumpkin. So I'm going to create in the lips. I'm going to send it to the back. So I send my oval to the back, which now means I need to send my rectangle to the back. So I'm going to right click, arrange, send to back. There's my oval. If that's not dark enough for you, feel free to change it. You can just have a simple shadow this way. You can have your shadow out that way. Since everything's centered, I'm just going to put mine in the center. What you can even do, and I'll zoom in here so you can see, is you can mess with the opacity of this to kind of give it a see-through look there. And just kind of blends in better with the background. Sorry, one little thing that's going to bug me. I'm going to select this top, get my direct selection tool, select this point and this point, holding shift and making these a little too curved, a little bit curved. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so what I want you to do first is save this to your cloud because we might need it again for another project. Go to File, Save As, and save to your Creative Cloud. Your screen probably looks a little bit different, but save to your cloud. Give it a name. Click Save. Now, the only thing about saving to your cloud is I don't believe you can turn in files from the cloud, so you'll need to go save it again or screenshot it. But what I like to do is export these as PNG. So go to File, Export, Export As, and you want to make sure your Save As type is a PNG. Put that in the folder. You want to check Use Artboards and click Export. And it's going to ask you your background color. Like here it shows transparent, so you know it's transparent. I would just pick white for now. It also asks you for a resolution. For now, for what we're using it for, the medium is fine. So click OK, and then you would turn in that PNG file for this assignment.